Welcome back once again for another SnowRunner truck review. Today we're going to check out an off-road class truck added in the brand new Season 8 Grand Harvest DLC, which has been changed multiple times on the PTS and live server as well. So before we start, I ask that you please help support the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel as well. Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into this and check it out. Going through multiple changes and modifications throughout the years, the ZIL 133 was originally intended to be a 3-axle version of the ZIL 130 with a higher payload. Being in direct competition with Kamaz, most vehicles produced had bare frames, ready to be outfitted with things like cranes, fire equipment, and even flatbeds. Produced until 2002, this truck became one of the biggest petrol-powered civil trucks in the Soviet Union. In the game of SnowRunner, the Step 39331 Pike is another smaller 6x6 off-road class vehicle. However, it will surprise you, yet some of these downsides should be taken into consideration to maximize your performance and enjoyment. As usual, the base stats will briefly be on your screen for viewing while we jump right into the downsides list at the number 1 spot, clearances. With clearances similar to its brother, the 310 Echo, yet a little bit better, I felt it still didn't merit a spot on the upsides list due to the vehicle being smaller in size, as we will learn coming up. The raised suspension does help in this category, but overall, this downside is not its worst. Downside number 2, small tires and no chained options. As a Phase 8 vehicle, the area the Pike is found doesn't have any snow or ice, which makes this downside a little less concerning. However, the fact that it has a 43-inch tire and no chained tire option had to make an appearance on this list. As we know, the Step Series trucks are smaller, and we kind of expected the smaller tire, but having no chained tire option couldn't elude mentioning. Downside number 3, weight. The Step 39331 Pike is a rather light vehicle, weighing more than its brothers, yet equal to a notable off-roader, the KRS Bandit. Sharing that same top engine at 185,000 torque, being under 10 tons, you kinda know where I'm going with this. And if you've been watching the channel recently, you already know how to deal with wheel spin. So let's move on to downside number 4, add-on combinations and snorkel. While there's not too much of a need for a high snorkel in Season 8, I did want to mention that the fuel tank add-on cannot be used with its tallest snorkel. Lastly, even though the new custom sideboard bed is a welcomed addition, some trailer contact might happen, so just choose your hitch trailers wisely. Downside number 5, saddle considerations. While this downside might be more of a minor scrutiny of mine, I did notice how much frame overhang the Pike had compared to its brother, the 310 Echo. This rear frame overhang, while not as bad but similar to trucks like the Fleet Star and the Chevrolet Kodiak, you might see some frame and trailer contact, yet I don't think it's enough to significantly affect your steering. Downside number 6, small fuel tank and consumption. Being a smaller truck, we knew this one would take a spot on this list, although it does carry more fuel than its brothers and equal to a larger formidable off-roader, the Voron AE 4380. I'd also like to mention that even on pavement, the Pike's consumption isn't high, but it feels oddly higher than its peers. With a smaller fuel tank, players will obviously need support vehicles set up around the map, but not as frequent as some others, of which we will learn later. And now, finally, let's get into the 7th and final downside of this list, durability. Similar to the other Step trucks, the 39331 Pike damage tolerances are not good, especially for being in the off-road class. On a very interesting note, a viewer brought forth some research on the effects of damage on engines. With this knowledge brought forth from this viewer, we learned that the LAZ TA240 engine at 50% damage consumes 210% fuel and operates at 60% power from only taking 60 damage to its engine compartment. In the future, I will make a separate video on this, but right now, after 7 downsides finished, I'm ready to hear some good news. So, here are the pros for the Step 39331 Pike. Starting out the pros list at the usual number 1 spot, power, all-wheel drive, and differential locking. While we learned that the engine is not really durable, the vehicle is rather light, it does have a very strong engine at 185,000 torque and is combined with always-on all-wheel drive and diff lock. Without saying too much, those things right there make this one a very easy truck to drive. Upside number 2, tire options. Starting out with the same tires as its little brother, the Step 3364 Crocodile, those UCDs are quite good to start with. But unlike its brother, the 310 Echo, the Pike gets a mud tire option, allowing it to have the MHS2 single wide track, which leads us right into upside number 3, undersized, yet good terrain navigation. For the step trucks being undersized, you notice that they do seem to do rather well. Their ground clearance and tire size might not be on par with elite off-road class trucks, but upon inspection of their frames, you notice how well tucked up their fuel tanks are. In the game of SnowRunner, I don't know about you, but I've been snagged up on my fuel tank going through those thick spots by roots or logs or just something in the mud. Having this doesn't necessarily mitigate the vehicle being smaller, but it is a good start, and honestly, I have yet to get snagged underneath in this truck. Upside number 4, range. During our downsides, I did mention a smaller fuel tank and an odd consumption at times, but the Step has a rare feature, which is a roof rack, adding repair points for a damage-prone engine and fuel to give it more range. With that new added fuel tank on its custom cargo bed, the Pike has over 100 gallons of fuel to call upon, allowing it to cross great distances. Upside number 5, stability. Upon looking at its weight distribution, we noticed it's about a 50-50 when it comes to chassis and cab weight. However, in my own test, I haven't seen any issues with balance. One caution I would add is that with a 50-50 distribution, you might have some balance issues with certain add-ons. But for the most part, it's better than a lot of trucks I've seen. And finally, coming in at upside at number 6, versatility. A huge surprise was the amount of add-ons this truck could use despite being a smaller off-road vehicle. A major complaint people have is add-on availability. While I do understand the reasoning behind not giving every truck all add-ons, it is nice to see the add-on capabilities for even a smaller truck. So in conclusion, in all honesty, the Pike really doesn't have many flaws that would turn drivers away. Thinking back on other trucks I've said the same about are some of the elite off-roaders in the game, and to be quite forward here, the Pike isn't far off the mark. Yes, it is small and has some quirks to deal with, but this edition has really been a joy to play. As you know, I'm not one to make bold claims, but I do see a trend with the step trucks in my comparisons to their superiors, the Tega 6455B and the 6436. In all 3 of my step truck reviews, I've mentioned similarities, but I do believe the Step Pike might be the king of the step trucks due to its ability and versatility. If Sabre keeps bringing out new strong additions to the game, like this vehicle right here, it could merit an update on my current tier list videos. Try this one out and let me know what you think. I hope this review gave you a fresh, new perspective of the Step 39331 Pike. Please smash that like button. Definitely share this video with someone who is currently struggling with the game, and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you don't miss any future content. Hope y'all have a wonderful day, God bless, and stay upright.